Hey guys, this is day number 4 of my Rosa 2 build diary. Bit of a strange one. Unfortunately, due to a nationwide outage, I'm not actually connected to the internet right now. I can't enter maps, it just boots me out. But I can be in town for some reason with good connection, so there's not going to be a little map showcase. Luckily, I'm still farming TM7 boss rush, so there's not really much to show anyway. The build kind of looks exactly the same, but we did actually swap to the mana variant, and it is not that much different, to be honest with you. I'll quickly do a DPS showcase. You can see here, DPS wise, it takes a second to build off the Mercury stacks, but we're only really 100 mil ahead at the minute in current gear. That's because we have a very scuffed setup. You can see we're sort of climbing here, but this is, after a while, we're now double the DPS we were on yesterday. But again, this is, sat there. The only real difference is we are extremely tanky compared to yesterday. So successful swap, we've doubled our DPS. We've become a lot more tanky. However, feel like we need a bit more investment to actually push the build further into TM8 and beyond. So I'm actually gonna go through what I paid in total for this swap, which is up here somewhere on the sheet. Yeah, it's here. I can't actually change anything on the sheet because it's not connected, so that's it's kind of funny. But luckily, it's got all of the information that how much I paid for everything. So this doesn't actually include the Phantom, which I ended up buying, which was 580. It brings the total to roughly about 2,900, about 2,900 or so. Um, Big standouts are obviously the damage taken as mana, chest, and boots. These were quite a bit more expensive than I was expecting. They were 400 and 550, so nearly a third of the budget on just those two. Helm would have been about the same, if not more, but we bypassed the cost of one of these with the slates, the 8% damage taken as mana instead of life slates. So here, if I just scroll down, here is the cost of stuff on day 4. These are obviously placeholders, as mentioned before. These ended up being a lot more expensive. You're probably looking at closer to 500 for each of these slots, including the rings and main hand. I'm actually using the rings and main hand that I was before, so the damage is still quite low. And you can see the price of everything is sort of coming down. It's actually becoming cheaper, but obviously take this with a whole ton of salt because the helm, the chest, and the boots are quite expensive to craft. You can get sort of entry level ones with only that mod on it, and you just craft yourself like I've done, which I'll show you in a second. But bear in mind that is not going to be great for the build, and you're going to want to actually replace that quite soon. Hey, I'm online. Cool. For probably about 30 seconds. It has been on and off for the last 8 hours or so, and as far as I know, it's across the UK. So, but I will actually go through what I've swapped to. You can see the sort of entry level gear. So I'll go through the uniques first. First off is Phantom. We actually self-corroded this. It hit max mana. Obviously, there's no downside to that, so it's whatever. Fairly okay rolled, whatever, right? Like it's just an entry level one. Compensatory life, again, sort of fairly well rolled to be fair. Tyrant's Iron Fist. This is, I mean, the difference isn't that much, right? 880 to 900. Again, sort of mid roll, I guess lower because of the in. And then this is our Glacial Caster Shield. Bad corruption on it. We're probably going to replace this sort of early. And then here we have the rares. So this is just a self-crafted rare mask. I think I paid maybe 50 FE for this base. Rings I was using before. and claw I was using before. I think I've only just put the dream affixes on these. Same for the boots, same for the chest, but the chest is one we brought and we've been crafting a little bit on. And then the boots, the same, we did a little bit of crafting. There are the stats on that. We'll quickly go through the skills now because we have changed. Frostbite, the only thing I've changed is I've gone into multi-strike because it was, for this setup, slightly more DPS. Defensive buffer, I actually went for just for the extra DR, just as an extra button to press. Spiral strike is basically the same. I'm still in ice bombs. Maybe it's better to go maybe timid or whatever the cold curse is instead. And Bull's Rage. So Bull's Rage is actually a weird one. When I'm actually mapping, it actually says I don't have enough life to cast it, but you can see actually in the top left there, Bull's Rage is actually being cast. So if you ever see that in maps in the future, when I'm just playing them, when I can actually get in the map, you can actually see it is actually on. So I will go to quickly check my passive skills. So I've gone for Cruelty, and I've gone for Thundermagus, and that nets us down to a grand total of 3 life, but we're obviously using our mana, which we have none reserved. So this is the current setup. Have a bit of energy left too, which I'm going to play with. Talents, essentially as before. I think I swapped mana res a little bit. But yeah, essentially. Oh, sorry, not essentially as before because we've just swapped. This is what is on the sheet that we were going to go into. So it's the stuff that was on the sheet. You can see here I've changed it a little bit because I had to go into a little bit more mana reservation because I don't have it on chest yet. And then I will go down to slates. So these are our slates. Just cheap, 8% of damage taken before life. You can see here how much I paid for them. I paid 37 FE for one, 18 FE for another one, and 15 FE for the last one. And these are just basically as they are. I've just rolled them extremely basically. You can see there. And then here we actually hit +1 mana per 6 in. So that's actually pretty cool. Don't know if it's worth anything. I'm just going to use it anyway. So we'll definitely take that. This is the pedigree we were using before. The Fallen Starlight we were using before, I think we paid 200 FE for it on day 1 or 2. We actually resold that for 375, so a little bit of a profit there. I would have liked to have used it in the build, but I couldn't fit it because I needed to take the extra slates. And last thing is hero traits. So we've leveled up our mana one a little bit. This is going to go all the way to 50 before we look at these, but these will be next. Because these are obviously very behind. So these are just, the next thing we're concentrating on. It's just self-farming our own threads and then, selling all the other excess stuff just to generate more FE to incrementally increase the level of gear we've got. And we obviously swapped to Cleanse Filth from Boundless Sanctuary and to Utmost Devotion from Born to Cleanse. I think that is it. I don't think I changed pacts. The only thing I did was put the destinies on, which you can see here. I think I overwrote some attack speed here, so I might undo these and go over like the multi-strike or the attack damage. That's probably better. We'll see if I can get away with doing a map without disconnecting. If not, you can see proof that I'm actually not lying. I'm disconnecting constantly. Yeah, here we go. So this is exactly what's been happening. So you can see there, we're just disconnecting. We'll get booted back to login. So that's why there's no map showcase, but you'll just have to believe me. There's not that much different. The damage hasn't gone up that much. I'm doing the same content. It's just unfortunate it's in this format where, Kind of having to look at spreadsheet and just be in town for today. Very unfortunate, bit of an anticlimax to the mana swap, but yeah. Um, so last thing I'm just going to talk is scaling. So our consume rate right now is really quite low. This is all just information I've took from Hero Wig and from Don the Crown's video. So if you want to see more in-depth stuff, just go check those out. And the consume rate at the minute is 40k for us, and we want to be about 210k. So we need to scale our mana and our attack speed a lot, and that should skyrocket our damage. Yeah, I think that is all there is to talk about today. Again, apologies. Day 4, a little bit of a weird one. We can't actually show any content, but yeah, it's what it is. National outage on on some internet services. So yeah, I will see you tomorrow for day 5, and hopefully I can actually log on and get some content done in the game.